Does playing on competitive and travel teams really increase scholarship chances? This is the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode number 105. And hello from North Carolina. I'm Jon Fugler, your athletic scholarship coach and author, speaker, and also podcaster. Good to have you along in this episode. Last time I talked to you, I was on another part of the world, and I've traveled 1,400 miles, I think, and gotten here to our new home in North Carolina. So, hey, I'm a day late getting this episode out, but give me a break. Cut me some slack. It took me a few days to get the studio set up here, and but we're rolling. I mean, we are rolling, and I didn't really miss a beat. Went from Colorado, where it is a little bit drier, to here in North Carolina, where it's more humid. And the Athletic Scholarship Podcast lives on. Hey, I want to let you know I got the Recruiting Power Pack for you available on my website at recruitme.com, recruit-me.com. Go get it. It's absolutely free. You got 3 resources there you can take advantage of as you really kick things in gear this fall. And want to remind you about the Athletic Scholarship Playbook. That is available on Amazon. I got a link in the show notes, but all you got to do is go on Amazon and search Athletic Scholarship Playbook, and there it is. It's a great resource for you. Now, I do want you to know something that's really cool. A lot of people like to learn audibly. And many who are ordering the playbook are ordering the Audible version. I recorded that so you can listen to it as a parent, an athlete, listen to it as a family, listen to it while you're working out, whatever. And this is a great resource for you. Now, Audible will make this available to you for free if you are signing up for a new Audible account. If you don't have an Audible account yet, you sign up, they'll give you a free month. It's a good deal because then you can go ahead and get the Athletic Scholarship Playbook audio version for free. It's a good tool, good resource. I'll tell you what you do. You just go to the show notes for this episode of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast and click the link there, which will then take you to that offer. All right? Just go to the show notes and I'll have that offer, that Audible offer for a free month. And that way you get the Athletic Scholarship Podcast book, audiobook for free. Got the new Recruit Me system coming out. Of course, I thought I'd have it out a month ago, but moving does something to you. I'll have that for you. Great enhancement to what we have out there right now. It's got video, audio, digital, all together in one. It's a multimedia learning training experience, and that's coming out. We're in the middle of our one question series. I'm taking questions from you, our listeners. Got a good one today. If you have one, just email me, Jon@recruitme.com, Jon@recruit-me.com. And you can also click the link in the show notes. That's a link to my email address. What is your biggest challenge in recruiting? What is it at this point? Let me know. I want to dig deep into these questions that I have been doing the last few weeks and keeping this series going as well. So there's time for you, there's room for you to make sure that you get your question in. Well, we've been doing the Athletic Scholarship Podcast now for 105 episodes, releasing every Tuesday, except when I moved to North Carolina. It has become a Wednesday, late Wednesday, getting this out. But 15 minutes that will change your scholarship future. So let's dive in to today's question. Had a hint of it during the teaser portion of the show, but this comes from Brad, and he asked me this: Jon, what's your opinion on a girl playing competitive ball for a good team, or one that's on a team that maybe isn't quite as good? Do colleges recruit from good teams more often than those not as good teams, or do they just focus on the individual girl paying little attention to the team? Okay, that's there are a lot of layers to this, as there are to all these questions, and I'm trying to dig into these questions and really lay out answers that are broader than what you might see at face value here. And so, as always, I have 3 points. That's the way it works, right? Okay, hey Brad, here's what I have to say about that. I think back on our twin sons, and we always went for the competitive level with them. They played baseball. And in the summertime, of course, you have your travel teams. There were two. I remember one year in particular had a choice between one of two teams. One was a travel team. They actually played 95 games over 2 months in the summer, 2 or 3 months. Went to several states in the Southwest. It was demanding. And then another team, which was all local athletes, which was fine as well. But we decided to take on the competitive level. With that invitation, we wanted to see what would happen, see some of the benefits of that. And there are benefits. One thing, it makes you better as an athlete. You're competing at a higher level, so you have to be on your game more. It will also show you what your strengths and weaknesses are. It will give you an idea of how well you compete and what is your talent level on a broader scale than just, say, the local league. If you do some traveling, you'll get a good picture. And parents, we need that. We need to know how good our athletes are, our son or daughter is, not just in our own local area, but in a broader, more regional, perhaps even national, if that's the opportunity. You'll get a good picture. You're going to meet better athletes out there, compete against better athletes, and you'll see how your son or daughter does at those levels. It's a great opportunity. If you get a chance to compete outside your area, do it on the competitive level, tournaments, travel teams, club teams, that type of thing. It will really show you where your son or daughter fits in. That's important because, yeah, we're going for the scholarship. But we have to be realistic. Is my daughter a D1 athlete, D2, D3? You want your son or daughter to fit in at the best spot, at the best places. You want the best fit. And athletically is one of those factors. We can be blinded, parents, and this is a dose of reality. The competitive level revealed a lot to us as a family about our sons. You do get some exposure traveling. It's not like all of a sudden you're going to get all these coaches coming in and looking at your daughter and making the evaluation. They have to know that she's even there, that she's even interested, and I'll get into that in a moment in more detail. But there is an element of exposure if you're on competitive teams, but it doesn't just happen. We'll go into more detail. So that's the first thing. Yeah, I would go for the competitive level. Give it a shot at least. And not primarily from the recruiting standpoint, but from the standpoint of becoming a better athlete. Second thing is talent trumps team. Talent trumps team. And what I mean by this, you asked this, do colleges recruit from good teams more often than those not as good teams, or do they just focus on the individual athlete? Well, basically they're looking for, and bottom line, they're looking for good athletes. They're looking for great athletes. They're looking for scholarship athletes. Doesn't matter whether you're on a good team or a poor team. The factor there is, are you going to perform at a higher level when you're on a good team as opposed to a poor team? During the high school season, you really don't have a choice. When you are playing for a club, or as you say here, competitive, and I'm not sure whether you're talking about playing for competitive ball where you have two choices of competitive teams. One is good and one is not so good. I'm not sure. But playing on a competitive team, on a good team, does usually raise your level of ability, but coaches aren't looking at that. They're looking at the athlete, not the team. They don't care what the final score is. I remember one athlete that our sons played with who competed at a very small school in town, really small. And they played at a lower level because of their school size. Yet, he was recruited at one of the top 20 schools in his sport. And he went there. Small school, small town, ended up at a great college and one of the top programs. And that's typical. That happens a lot if you look around. So you don't have to be on the best team to get that scholarship. They're looking for the talented athletes. So talent trumps team. The third thing I have to mention also, in relationship to your question, Brad, is this. The third point is you have to tell coaches that you're there. Yeah, you may be your daughter may be playing on a competitive team, even going to tournaments, doing a lot of traveling, as our boys did. But scouts didn't just show up. College coaches didn't just show up and look for our kids unless we made a point to let them know that they were there. You need to let coaches know that you're there. Or I should say, your daughter needs to let coaches know she's there. They aren't just out looking randomly. They have purpose because they have limited time and they need to go where they're seeking specific athletes. Yeah, at tournaments and showcases, they may be looking just to see who emerges as athletes on their list that will become recruits. But this isn't just a shotgun approach. They have a purpose in mind. They have had athletes that have contacted them. They have recruits on their list. So your daughter, in conjunction with you in teamwork, needs to let coaches know that she's out there. And that, of course, is the basis of what I teach, is to take the initiative. Doesn't it always come back to the basics? You're asking whether coaches are looking for athletes on good teams or poor teams, and what kind of exposure they're going to get. And yet it really comes down to the fact that you're taking the initiative. She is taking the initiative. And word will get out that way. So that's how I would answer that question. If you have a question, make sure you write to me, John at recruit-me.com. John at recruit-me.com. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to hit another question next week, right here in my brand new studio in North Carolina, enjoying a new culture, new people. I'll tell you, the people in North Carolina are awesome. They're wonderful. My wife and I actually, in our first week here, were able to take a break because it was really hectic, the whole process of moving and getting here, and we went to the ocean for 3 days. It was wonderful. It was hot, but it was wonderful. It was a good getaway. Well, that's it for now. God bless you. We'll talk to you next week.